One of the surprising benefits has been the clarity of thought. Journaling has become a way for which I actually use to think. This is thinking about problems at work, thinking through problems that I face in life, working through emotions that I feel, to fights that I have with other people. I like to write about events. I write about things that happen in the day, my ideas for certain topics, and it's given me a lot of clarity in the way I think. What writing actually does, writing physically on a pen and paper, or even typing it out, forces you to do is to have solidified thoughts. It makes you choose the words you write carefully and helps to solve some of your problems while you're thinking out loud. One day, I was very frustrated. I was clearly remember that I had a fight with a friend, and now to this day, I don't know why the fight started, and I couldn't even think of it while I was journaling. I was angry, I was frustrated, and as I was writing down these feelings, I realized how childish I sounded, how petty I was. And while I was writing that down, I realized that maybe I was actually in the wrong. Maybe this is not the person that I want to be a petty person, to be someone that is so easily frustrated, and it's not the man that I wish to be. And this clarity of thought was really life-changing, was really transformative in the way that I deal with my emotions, with how I think about how I speak with others and how I treat others. Since that moment, I've realized that not only can I use that to talk about emotions, but also it has tremendously helped me in my career. I use it to think through problems strategically, to write down the question that I'm struggling with, to ask myself why I don't understand something. And once I actually ask myself these questions, both on paper and out loud, I realize that there's a solution. If there's no straightaway solution, then there's some research that I need to do. There's someone that I need to talk to. There's perhaps something that I'm missing. A lot of the times I actually realized I was asking the wrong question to begin with, that I was on the wrong track. And this is sort of like a little metaphor for life, where this doesn't really only apply to your career or your work, but with all the other big things in life, the big questions in life. What do I really want? Oh, I want X. Why do you want X? I'm not sure. I would write down, I'm not sure why I want X. Perhaps it's this or that. Perhaps it's somewhere in between. Let me think about it. Let me think about it more, because I don't have an answer. This is my thought process in which I actually journal. And sometimes it can be a paragraph or it could be 2 pages long. It's just the process, and I'm working through these thoughts. It's therapeutic in nature. As I said before, I write about some of my emotions. I work through some of the issues of why I feel certain ways about certain things, about things that happen, things I see on the news, things people say to me in passing. Maybe it's criticism at work, maybe it's criticism from peers, maybe it's a slight of someone looking at me funny, right? It could be many things, and I write about it. And as I'm writing about it, it's as if I'm unleashing this pent-up energy, pent-up emotions, and it's all going onto the paper where I can sort of relax into it. So for me, it's free therapy, though I don't discount actually going to a therapist, a licensed therapist, and going through some sessions to work through certain things. I think therapy is basically like going to a mechanic for your car, right? The mechanic works on your car to fix things, and therapy is maintenance for your mind. Both are needed, or else your car is gonna be making weird sounds. One of the topics or ideas that I wrote about was really my addiction to video games. And I wrote about it one day, and even as a child, I was spending so many hours playing video games, playing Warcraft 3, playing StarCraft, and that kind of dates how old I am. And I think what I realized after writing it down and asking myself these questions, I sort of realized that It was actually just a symptom. My addiction to video game was just a coping mechanism. It was a way to cope with my fears. My fear of actually success. I was scared of what success would bring me. I knew that success meant I would need to be more than who I was that day. I needed to step up my game. I needed to learn a lot of things. I needed to be good with people. I needed to be good in all that I do. And it was that fear of success that held me back, and I used video games as the mechanism in order to cope with that. Journaling was therapy. It was a way for me to work through some of my past traumas, some of my past programming, things that have been programmed into my brain since kid, whether that was conscious or subconscious. One of the more lighthearted parts of journaling for me for the last 10 years is definitely for the memories. Sometimes I will go back and read some of the journal entries I've had from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, even 10 years ago. And I am very surprised about the things that I've written. The way that I thought, the way that I believed in certain things has been a constant change. And that just goes to show that I am growing as an individual, I'm growing as a person. It's given me a lot of hope, and it's given me a lot of strength to know that I'm continually making progress to become the best version of myself, to self-actualize, and just to appreciate the progress that I've made over the years, right? I think sometimes we get caught up about what's next. What is the next thing that I'm gonna achieve? What is the next goalpost that I need to reach? And we fail to appreciate what we have already achieved. All the things that we have already achieved. It's being filled with gratitude of the things that you once wished you had, the things that you fought so hard for. And while you're journaling about events that made you mad, that you were scared of, that you weren't sure if you were making the right decision. And when you revisit these memories and these fragments of your mind that were so many years ago, you get to revisit them. And I think that's such a beautiful part of what journaling can offer. I'm very fortunate for this experience, truly. It's not so much of a habit that I'm trying to check off, but it's truly given me such clarity of thought. It's been therapeutic, and I just do it for the memories. I hope that one day, 10 years from now, that one day I can summarize for perhaps my children, perhaps my grandchildren. When I'm at an old age, when I'm at 70 years old, I'm gonna read back on the things that I thought when I was a 20-year-old, and I'll look back fondly and I'll chuckle and I'll say, wow, was I dumb? Was I misinformed? Was I such a noob, right? So many things that we fail to realize when at such a young age, and the wisdom of just time passing by. And I think that's one of those powerful things that journaling has to offer.